time to get to the main course. What do you say, Jens?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
And I do apologize. Normally, I have a little video package for the intros, but Argo is a Warner Brothers film, and they love to copyright claim everything. So.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And by the way, just a previous comment here from Dixie, just sliding under the on the previous one there. Thank you for that one. 2 Utes indeed. All right. So, folks, we're going to talk about Argo, and boy, was it good to watch this one again. For those who are unfamiliar, this is actually directed by Ben Affleck. It came out in 2012. Let that sink in. It does not feel like it's been.
No.
What's the math there? Like 14 years?
Yeah.
Dear Lord.
It's been a long time. Right. And I didn't realize it until we went back and rewatched this. Like, because I didn't see it when it first came out. I saw it a couple years after it did. And when we decided we were going to do this, I was like, oh my God, I haven't seen this in a decade.
See?
Yeah, it's been that long. But just for some fun news and notes here, you guys want to take a guess on what the budget on this one was?
110 million?
I don't think that the budget was that high. I'm going to say maybe 50 or 60 million. I think this was going to be made for pretty cheap.
Bob got pretty close. It was 44 and a half.
Wow. What was that?
Now, how about this? You want to guess what it took in at the box office?
225?
Bob?
I'm going to say this was a rated R movie, right? So I'm going to say
actually wins this one. It was $232 million.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's how good this did. That's a profit, gentlemen.
That is a profit.
For a movie that was a random October release. Just kind of came out of nowhere. So let's get into the thoughts here about this. Josh, why don't you kick us off about Argo? Your thoughts?
Oh, I love this movie. I hadn't seen it. I had seen it in the theaters, and then I had watched like clips of it. And then this was the first time I had seen the whole thing again. And it is awesome. It is awesome. What a story. It's amazing. Even the ending, which you know what's going to happen after, you've seen it a couple times, it's still suspenseful. Like if you think about it, the way when they're at the airport and they're being questioned, and Ben Affleck, basically he had an order of what was going to happen. And I don't think he knew that these guys were going to take him into that other room and start interrogating them. And then the guy decides to call Burbank, and John Goodman's character and Alan Arkin.
Yeah.
And then they're stuck waiting for them to finish that movie. And you're like, okay, hurry up. And finally, Alan Arkin with the line, he's like, we're moving. We're going to be in the movie. Call my agent. And they get there in time, and then they get on the plane, and you're just like waiting and waiting. And the plane starts to take off, and you've got the military personnel, the Jeeps with the guns going right after them. And you see the Swiss pilot not even noticing. He's focused on taking off, and they take off, and you think, okay, that's it. They got it. But it isn't until they clear Iranian airspace. And they're like, we've reached 10,000 feet. You're free to, and they just like celebrate. And just, they're so happy. And especially the guy was it the one with the mustache who had no confidence in Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Right?
But I think a lot of that is because the fact that Ben Affleck was a CIA operative, and it's like, why should we trust you? You got all the intelligence wrong to begin with, and now you're here to get us out, and you're not even telling us your real name. Because remember, he doesn't give him his real name until a little bit later.
Correct. Yeah, no, he came in not knowing. It was very interesting because, the first half of the movie, he's setting everything up and he hasn't left yet. and he leaves and he gets to Iran and he is in the car and he looks out the window and there's the body hanging from one of the scaffolding, and it's like real, like you're just like, it's just could you imagine just going through that? You're,
No.
in America 1 minute and then the next you're in the foreign country and you've got dead bodies hanging from scaffolding.
No, I cannot imagine that.
Like it was just crazy. And then, I mean, the humor with John Goodman and Alan Arkin was just amazing. They were just so funny. And the part where he's like, "Oh, so you want me to make a fake movie? Oh, so nothing's changed." Like, and it's the fact that they went through all that, with costume design and script writing and storyboards, everything to make sure they had no idea what they were doing. And that the government was like, no, let's just have them, be teachers. And Ben Affleck was like, that's not going to work.
No.
But you remember why he said that it wasn't going to work? Because he had said that there were no longer any teachers there in Iran. And then when they were saying, well, you could just make them like missionaries, they're there to, help the starving kids and stuff, or help them grow crops and all that stuff. And they're like, no, it's winter. It's
right.
It's a time we can't really do that.
No.
Yeah. So he made the right decision. But just that movie, I mean, to me, just crazy. A crazy time in the world. And I loved at the ending how they had the speech from Carter, the real life speech, how he, talks about them, and that Ben Affleck's character got the award, the medal. And it was the secretive one, right? Like, what's his name said, yeah, no one's going to know about this.
Yeah, they didn't. They gave him the award, but they took it back, and then they said that once the mission was declassified years later, that they gave him the award back.
That was it. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I think this is a great movie. Love it. I think it is one of Ben Affleck's best movies. I would say, if you say what are some of your favorites with him, I think it's this one in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah, he did co-direct that one too, didn't he?
No,
I don't. No, he wrote that. He didn't. He didn't write that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he wrote it. You're right. Yep.
So I think he did a great job.
Fair enough, Bob. Please.
Well, for me, I think this movie's really, really good. I think Ben Affleck is a very underrated director. He's not one that you think of when you think of really great directors or anything like that, but I think he's made some really solid movies that he's directed. And in this particular film, I think he does a good job of building tension in the film. Now, the film does take some creative license. I went to look at some of the actual story, and of course, the ending is very different from the way it actually happened. So they do take some creative license, but I think that works for the movie itself, and I think that creates a lot of tension. But the tension starts right away because I think they do a pretty good job at the beginning of the film of capturing the emotions that were going on during that time, as far as the events from the people there on the ground there in Iran, from the Americans, how they were feeling, because you see people on the streets reacting to that here in the U.S. as well, and their feelings on it. So yeah, I thought they did a pretty good job of capturing people's feelings, and that helps add to the tension. So I think that Ben Affleck does a really good job of creating tension in this film. Also, I think that the story itself, I think it's pretty well adapted. Again, there's creative license, but I think it's a story that's pretty amazing when you think about it, because you've got these Americans that are stuck there in Iran. They escaped the embassy before they're taken hostage, and they're hiding out there in the Canadian embassy or the Canadian ambassador's home.
Right.
And while they're hiding there, they're trying to figure out ways to get them out, and to watch the whole story unfold, how they develop the cover, how they make the movie feel legit, like they actually do like a press junket type thing where they have a script reading, they get a script, they have posters, storyboards, all of these things designed to give the story some legitimacy. And then of course you see the scene when Ben Affleck actually gets to them and he's giving them their cover stories, that they have to recite all of these and memorize this, because that could be the difference between life and death. And so I think that uh, it's a pretty incredible story to watch, and as somebody who likes movies that are based on history, it was one that I really got into. I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it, and like I said, I do think it's more culturally relevant now with current events going on than it was when it first came out, because I think there's renewed interest in the events that played out 47 years ago, as well as what's going on now. And so I had a renewed interest in it as I was watching it. I felt engaged right from the get-go. And then just the relief that you feel when they do finally get out of Iranian airspace. And so, yeah, I think it's an incredible movie. It's an incredible story. Again, there is some creative license taken, but overall, I think it's a solid movie. I really enjoyed it from start to finish.
Yeah, full agreement, Bob and Josh. At the beginning of my review, I said this movie is intense, real, relevant, and brilliant. And I think that sums it up. This movie is it's great not only for the reasons that Josh and Bob stated, but here's what this movie does an incredible job of. It manages to keep its eyes on the mission the entire way through. It has one goal, and that's what every single piece of it is focused around.
Yep.
Now, there's all sorts of different dimensions and layers and all, really creative ways as to how we get there, but it's about one thing and one thing only, and that's getting people home safe. That's it. All the other ways they do it and show you the ways that they're doing it are absolutely incredible and well done. The parallels that they show, that's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is when they show the work that they're doing to give their movie legitimacy, while at the same time seeing all this horrific stuff happening in Iran. It makes you realize why they are doing what they are doing.
Yes.
And what the end goal really of all this is. One of the best lines in the movie, if I may, oh, you're looking to come to Hollywood to be a big shot without doing anything. You'll fit right in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, John Goodman. Yet again, another great performance by John Goodman. I think that maybe why Ben Affleck was able to pull this off was because he had a focal point that he could just stick to. And if he pulled back the layers on the onion after that, and made sure that it stuck to the one goal, that's why this works so well. And the people who were in it, the actors who were in it really stick to the story the entire time. Alan Arkin does a great job as well in this. So there's really nothing I can say other than what Bob and Josh already have, other than the fact that you're right, Bob. This couldn't be any more relevant now.
Yeah.
And you know what? There is one more point to make about it, though. It's actually pretty insane because I don't know if you could make a movie like this right now, probably without showing any type of political bias. And this managed to get away with that.
Yeah.
There was really none. It just focused on one thing, and that was it.
I mean, it was about history, but I think it wasn't about present day,
No, but even if you made it about history, in today's age, who knows what the directors would do in terms of spending it. But Ben played it straight. He played it straight down the middle and said, nope, we're just going to focus on history and the event. And that's what I think makes this movie really, really special, especially in this day and age. So he deserves a round of applause for that.
Yeah, I think for the most part, it is an apolitical movie, and that's a good thing because we've talked about it before. We don't like when our movies are just loaded with a bunch of politics in it. In this case, it was a movie you could just go and learn a little bit about history. And again, there is some creative license taken, but it does spark your interest level in the actual event itself.
Yep, for sure. And still relevant to this day with the events that we are going through. I can't emphasize this movie enough to go see if you haven't. And for those that have, rewatch it. It still plays to this day. Meister's here.
Hey, Meister, how you doing?
Oh, no problem, Meister. Don't
Meister,
worry
have
about
you
it.
seen it before?
Well,
Let's
let's
see what
let
it
him
says.
answer. Yeah, but don't apologize for being late, Meister. Happy to have you. You guys want to go to Critic List? Let's see what's happening.
Yeah, yeah. If you can pull it up, Derek.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and share it.
But yeah, just some other thoughts about the movie. I think that the acting is solid throughout this movie. I think the supporting actors, you've already mentioned some of them are all great, but one that's really good in this is Bryan Cranston.
I
he was
totally
so
forgot
good.
he was in this.
So when he breaks the coffee cup,
Yeah,
when he just slams it down because they wanted to change anything. Well, it was interesting because they got him through.
yeah.
But don't you think they were livid though that he went against orders?
No, but you see, okay, but that's one thing I tried to tell you earlier today, Josh. You remember your photographic memory that, like a sponge, you absorb it all.
Yeah.
I told you earlier today that didn't actually happen. That was done for the movie.
Oh, okay. Are you here, Bob? I didn't know you were here.
Josh, stop. Enough.
Yeah,
You
shut up.
stop, Derek.
Okay, let's go to Critic List. Let's talk.
Bob just wanted attention from Dixie. That's what Bob does.
Yes, but that's what we need to
Feel
show.
Well, Josh, you're the one that said you were a sponge. I'm
am.
just calling you out on
No,
it.
you're not. You're anything but. You're far from it.
But go ahead and go through some of these reviews
All right.
here, Derek.
Let's talk about the reviews. So the audience generally has given this the voters that have been there 83%, most excellent. I gave this a 95. The reason I rated it so high too was honestly it snuck up on me. It surprised me at how awesome this was. And when you can do that with me, you're going to get a high score because not only was it great, but it totally caught me off guard and was such a treat and a joy. So that's why I gave it that high.
Now, let me ask you before you get further into the
Yeah.
reviews. Do you guys think it was worthy of its Best Picture award? Because I do.
Yes, of course.
100%.
Like, this isn't one of those where when it won, everybody was like, "What? Really? This is what won?" I think this was a legit good one that won.
Legit good one that deserved it. Absolutely. 100%. And it looks like the Critic List audience is starting to agree with us here. Some guy who claims to have a good memory, he doesn't. He gave it a 93.
This was a beautiful thing. Look at that.
All right. And then Bob gave it a 90. That's pretty dang good. And then Bob Rogers, friend of the show, he actually, woof.
Now, here's the thing. Because I was actually talking with Bob Rogers with some comments back and forth, and Bob Rogers, he's from Europe, and so he doesn't really get into the patriotic movies the same way that we do. So so he's going to have a very different reaction to it, and that was kind of where he was coming from. So he wasn't really taken in by the story the same way we were.
Okay, then I can understand that. Dixie gave it a 78%. That's a rad, pretty good. Let's see. Then we have Ninja Waiter gave it rad as well, 79%. 79%. Then we get back into the most excellence, 89. Boy, Shay gave it 100%, which is hard to get out of all three of us. So it really hit it out of the park on that level for him. Ages of Film gave it a 94. American Hero gave it 100. Navana gave it 85. The point being, there's very few. Okay, so we had another one here that was 50%. That was King Tippy. But it's either rad or most excellent is where we're leaning toward this. So this is a solid one, no matter who you are, pretty much for the most part. With a couple
and like I said, I do think this is one that it was worthy of its Oscar win.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm surprised Ben Affleck didn't get nominated for Best Director because I think he actually won a couple of other awards that same year for Best Director. And the fact that he didn't get a nomination for this, I was very surprised.
Yeah, I would agree. He earned that with this movie. A great job by Ben. And one more point I'll make about Ben Affleck as a director. I thought that really, if there was one who had the chops to be considered credible out of Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, that was dear old Mr. Damon. And then, of course, Ben Affleck hits us with this. And okay, I stand corrected, Ben. You win. And thank you for that. And yes, it is his best movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, that's my favorite movie that he's done.
Yeah.
There we go.
So-
Meister, give it a watch, man. You're not going to be disappointed. Trust us.
Yes, definitely worth it.
Very good.